Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are very special games, and in Pokemon Company's first real attempt in a open world Pokemon experience, does it fail or does it succeed? What's going on, guys? I am Dom from The Game Looters, and I'm going to be telling you my review for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet after about 81 hours in the game. Now, when it comes to Scarlet and Violet, they are a step forward in the generation, and they are a step forward from Pokemon Sword and Shield, but they are a step backwards from Pokemon Arceus. At the back of the box, it says here, you're going to enjoy a open world, and that is what awaits you. And it's not the same context and the same dialogue that was for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, the reality is, Legends Arceus was essentially a quote-unquote different team, and this is the core team working on Generation 9 and the new entry for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So, let me tell you about my 81-hour experience, and does it succeed or does it fail? Let's talk about it. To start off, we're going to talk about the story. The story of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I can really happily report to you that it is very, very good. I had no qualms of Pokemon Legends Arceus. I also really enjoyed the story there. I think Scarlet and Violet is just as good as Arceus, if not even a little bit better from a story perspective, and definitely better than Sword and Shield. I really felt a lot of care and love for a lot of the characters that he had introduced me to. There is one character in specific that is going to give you the Path of Legends path that I absolutely adore. That character really got me in the feels. Speaking about that, there are 3 paths the story are going to take you down. The Path of Legends, where you'll be facing the Titan Pokemon, the Path of Champions, or the Victory Road path, and the Troublemaker path, which is called the Starfall Street path. These 3 unique paths are very unique to Scarlet and Violet, as they're going to be essentially having you do things that could encompass a whole storyline amongst themselves. You can do these in virtually any order. Now, there is a suggested order to do them in, and I kind of did them out of order, admittingly, but that's the cool thing is, almost no one's experience will be the same, because you can go almost anywhere that the game will allow you to. That leads me into the gameplay next. So the gameplay of this and the traversal around the world is really determined by your legendary Pokemon that you're going to get early on in the game, whether it be Koraidon or Miraidon, depending if you go Violet or if you go Scarlet. Now, I won't spoil anything, but I'm just going to say that you have to follow one of the storylines to be able to unlock all the abilities for your legendary Pokemon, Koraidon or Miraidon, to be able to navigate through the Paldean region. As far as the gameplay goes, it's very tried and true. If you've played any Pokemon game of the past, it is that turn-based style RPG mechanics that has been around since Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow. So if you're familiar with that, then you are going to be right at home. It is the kind of rock, paper, scissors mentality. Water will be fire, fire will be grass, etc., etc. The gameplay is honestly extremely fun, and it's always something that is a highlight of the Pokemon series, and it delivers here once again. When it comes to the difficulty, now here's the thing with the difficulty. Because you can go almost in any order that you want when it comes to the legendary Pokemon that you'll face, the champions of the different gyms that you'll go to, or the leaders of the Starfall, the Starfall Degenerate Troublemaker Brigade, because you can go in any path, essentially, the difficulty can be ramped up. You can easily stumble onto a gym leader or a leader of the Starfall area, or you can come across a legendary Pokemon that is really high level. I myself stumbled across a gym leader that was about level 40 to 45, 35 is where their Pokemon was, and I was just like right in the mid-30s. I was able to still pull it off with just using typing advantages, but the possibility is there. If you follow the direct path as the game intends, it doesn't tell you, but if you, let's say you did follow the intended path, you would level up alongside the game, so nothing too difficult there. Now, again, I don't think you'll be dying left and right, kind of like you were in Arceus, just because you were falling everywhere, so that is a positive here. Also, too, you can't really fall anywhere that you're not supposed to, even if you're on Koraidon or Miraidon, as they will save your bacon. So, difficulty, I will give this right in the middle and say it's C difficulty. This might be a little more difficult for the younger folks under 10 years old, but anybody over 10 would probably have a pretty easy breezy time with this game if they play it the correct way, which is capture them all, level them all up, battle as much as you see. If you follow that old tried and true, you'll be just fine. When it comes to the graphics, okay, I have to be 100% honest, the graphics are going to be a point of contention. If you are somebody who had looked back in the past at Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or the most recent Arceus, and you said, ew, you are going to not have a good time here. I would say that, in my personal opinion, Scarlet and Violet puts a step forward in Pokemon sprites and kind of how the Pokemon are depicted here, but it takes a step back from Arceus in kind of world design and everything else. No matter what anybody said out there about Legends Arceus, I thought it was a very beautiful and pretty game, and I thought that the different areas that you travel to were all unique and very captivating. There is some of that brilliance here in Scarlet and Violet, but it's muddied and it's very ugly. I can't tell you how many geometry issues I had in the game where I was just seeing straight through the bottom of the world. I was seeing through a mountain. And this is stuff that was happening mid-battle. It wasn't like I was traversing around the world. There's just a lot of geometry issues, screen door effects, and it's just a lot uglier than Arceus was. And in some respects, Sword and Shield, in some respects. But the designs of the Pokemon and their actual 3D models are gorgeous. They have definitely been upgraded over Legends Arceus, and this kind of can extend to some of the actual characters, like the NPCs and different characters that you interact with around the world too. But the actual world that you'll be going around and traversing in is a little uglier than Arceus was, and this is just my opinion, but you'll see for yourself. So I would rate the graphics a D- here. But I'm not a graphics snob, and the graphics aren't really what I'm here for. I'm here for the fun and the gameplay and the Pokemon. So the graphics, even though they're kind of didn't really do much for me personally, as I wasn't someone coming into it thinking that they're going to be Unreal Engine 5. Alright, talking about the music and the sound effects and the voices. So, music is absolutely incredible. The OST for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has that Spanish vibe, that Spanish mix. And there is even a gym leader that we saw during the roll-up for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Ayano. Her town, which is Lavencia, and the city that she's in is, oh my god, the soundtrack is incredible. Her gym leader soundtrack is incredible, and a lot of the different soundtracks that you'll see as you just kind of traverse around the world, especially the ones that have the Spanish vibes, are just so good. I would give music an A+. When it comes to sound effects, Pokemon always nails it out the park here as well. I'll give it just a solid A, as the sound effects are absolutely good. The reason they don't get an A+ and just an A is because Pikachu is the old sound effect, not the Pika Pika, and that includes Eevee too. You don't get the Evoli as we got in Pikachu and Eevee. So I would say because some of the Pokemon don't get their unique sounds, they just get an A, but it's still incredible. And for voices, well, there are no voices here. And that includes Ayano, who had a voice during her streaming trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But overall, since there's no voices, I can't really grade it. I'll just say I hope that one day we do get voice acting in Pokemon. You don't need it in every single scene, but I think triangle strategy and games like that are a good indicator for how they should do it. Main scenes get voice acting, everything else gets text. The length of the game is going to vary depending on you. That's the next thing here. We're going to talk about the length of the game. If you beeline this, you can probably complete the game somewhere between 18 to 30 hours if you just straight I mean, literally do nothing. Don't worry about capturing everything, being the very best. You just beeline the story. You could probably complete this in about 18 to 18. I would say about 18 to 25 hours, probably 18 to 30 hours, somewhere around there. For me personally, I clocked in at 81 hours, kind of doing everything that I thought I could do. And the game still has so much more to give, and that is, I haven't even started shiny hunting and doing all kinds of things like that. This game has probably another 100, 200, 300 hours for me to be able to put into. I easily put 500 to 1,000 hours in every Pokemon game, and I know I'm going to get that same replay value in Scarlet and Violet as I did my initial playthrough in Scarlet, and I'm going to start my next playthrough on Violet on the channel streaming here. Replay value, absolutely high and incredible. Each game offers unique Pokemon and unique mons for you to be able to capture, so you can easily play through both. And because of the unique paths that they have and the order you can do them in, you can have a different experience for yourself, basically experiencing something different than you did before because you can go in any order as well as catch Pokemon in any order. So replay value is extremely high. All right, let's talk about what rating I would give it. So overall, because I am a Pokemon fanatic, I'm going to give Pokemon Scarlet and Violet a 9 out of 10. I think its biggest detriment is the graphical abilities, the graphical display, just the graphics overall. I think it looks a little bit muddier than it did before. It gets a point docked because when it comes to shinies, there is no jingle in the overworld. So shinies were such an incredible thing in Pokemon Arceus, and it provided thousands of hours of fun. The shinies here, they don't have any jingle at all, so it really deters you from wanting to even shiny hunt outside of, doing the eggs and stuff. But for everything that the game adds, like picnics and sandwiches and abilities and really unique characters and storylines and dialogue, this game just really knocks it out the park. I would say a 9 out of 10. For context, I gave Arceus like a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was incredible. This one is just a little bit lower than that, and I would say that Sword and Shield's at like 8.5. So 9 out of 10 for Scarlet and Violet. It is an incredible Pokemon game, but it definitely is not going to bring in people who are not Pokemon fans. All right, thank you guys for joining my review. If you guys made it this part, you guys are awesome. You guys are the very best if you made it all this way. You guys are my champions of Paldea. Thank you for joining me for this review, and we'll see you on the next video. Check out my other Scarlet and Violet walkthroughs on screen now, and we'll see you in Paldea. Peace out, trainers.